Look closely at any modern institution, and you will see a highly complex web of daily operations. Everything seems orderly, but that routine calm often masks latent systemic risks, ranging from quietly circulating internal rumors to the sudden impact of a natural disaster. And then the routine shatters. A crisis is a sudden, abnormal disruption, placing the institution under immense pressure, demanding immediate, high-stakes action. We can actually map this concept by looking at its roots. The Greek origin of the word crisis points to a moment of decision. Meanwhile, the Chinese concept splits the idea into two simultaneous paths: immediate danger combined with a sudden opportunity for change. But the immediate reality is usually sheer threat. An institution can spend 20 years meticulously building trust and public goodwill, only to watch a poorly handled emergency erase that reputation in 5 minutes. In those critical early minutes, human instinct often defaults to silence or hesitation. But in a vacuum of official information, speculation takes over. Every hour of silence allows misinformation to harden, making the eventual recovery significantly more difficult. Surviving a severe shock requires two distinct operations: repairing the physical disruption and aggressively taking control of the narrative before rumors can fill the void. A crisis applies a level of pressure that routine operations never encounter. It instantly strips away layers of bureaucracy, leaving behind either paralyzing confusion or absolute competence. You will quickly see which leaders evade the issue, delay decisions, or blame the system. True professional leadership tackles the event head-on, treating the response as both a strict administrative requirement and an ethical duty to the public. The very first tactical move is gathering a specialized crisis cell. This small, highly capable team locks in to diagnose the source of the failure, map out every affected stakeholder, and align the internal staff so everyone speaks with one voice before addressing the outside world. Managing the fallout demands leaders who understand the difference between simply executing procedural tasks and making the difficult, correct decisions under intense pressure. Once the internal strategy is set, the institution needs a tool to cut through the noise of social media. That tool is the official press release, a highly structured, formal voice that delivers reliable data to the media and the public. The visual architecture of a successful press release looks exactly like this. It relies on the inverted pyramid method, a framework that forces the absolute highest priority data up into the widest, most accessible section at the very beginning of the text. That top tier is non-negotiable. Within the very first sentences, it must explicitly answer 6 questions: who, what, where, when, why, and how. The reader should immediately grasp the entire situation without needing to scroll. Moving down the pyramid, the stylistic laws are ruthless. Writers use short, direct sentences containing exactly one idea each. They strip away confusing jargon, delete exaggerations, and remove any empty corporate speak that might imply the institution is dodging responsibility. Constructed this way, the press release functions as a surgical mechanism. It injects verified, precise facts directly into the public bloodstream to neutralize panic. When we shift this framework into the educational sector, the stakes change. Schools are highly sensitive environments, and communicating about a crisis here requires far more nuance than standard corporate public relations. This is where the educational inspector becomes vital inside the crisis cell. They bring direct, on-the-ground field experience to the table. They validate the raw data coming from the schools and translate technical realities into appropriate pedagogical terms for the public. The inspector acts as a critical calibration mechanism. They weigh the absolute necessity of public transparency against the immediate need to prevent widespread panic among parents and protect the long-term integrity of the school. By filtering the chaos through their expertise, the inspector refines raw, volatile data into a statement that is technically accurate and pedagogically sound. Pushing the press release out to the media does not mean the crisis is over. It simply moves the event into a new phase of intense tracking and measurement. The crisis cell now watches specific metrics to judge if they have successfully taken control of the narrative. They track the total volume of media coverage, analyze how widely the facts are shared across social platforms, and measure the shifting sentiment of the public. Often, the sharpest public criticism and the deepest dissatisfaction actually become the institution's most valuable diagnostic data for identifying exactly where internal systems failed. Simultaneously, the physical recovery begins. The institution audits its tangible damages, deploys material and psychological support to anyone affected, and ruthlessly investigates the operational failures that allowed the event to happen in the first place. Throughout this recovery phase, the educational inspector remains active on the ground. They monitor the ongoing impact inside the classrooms and step in to run direct clarification meetings if rumors start to resurface. Ultimately, a highly resilient institution proves its worth by absorbing a severe shock and learning from it. By pairing decisive leadership with clear, strategic communication, they capture an emergency and forge it into permanent institutional memory.